So I just want to offer a quick disclaimer before we get into today's topic. Panic attacks are intense, they're overwhelming and scary experiences, and they can feel frightening both for the person who's going through it and also for you if you're the one supporting them. This video is here to guide you with trauma-sensitive tools, but it's not a substitute for professional counseling or for medical care. So please remember, if someone is complaining of chest pains, shortness of breath, or other health-related issues, it's always best to have them evaluated by a medical doctor. Don't be afraid to call 911 or to take them to the emergency room. Also, if panic is frequent, severe, or connected to trauma, abuse, or past harm, please consider reaching out to a licensed Christian counselor or a medical professional for support. All right, let's jump into the topic for today. So have you ever been with someone who was experiencing a panic attack and you didn't know what to do? Or you may have found yourself in that situation and you were worried that you might accidentally make things worse? It's a vulnerable moment, not just for the person in panic, but for you as well if you're trying to help them. And if you've been there and if you've ever frozen or said what you think was the wrong thing or felt helpless, you're not alone. A lot of very caring people feel unprepared in these situations. But here's the truth. There are simple, compassionate, and faith-centered ways that you can support someone while they're experiencing a panic attack. And these are ways that can help their body to settle down, their mind to come back to safety, and their spirit to reconnect with God's peace. I'm Eddie Traughber, and I'm a licensed Christian therapist, and I've got over 30 years of experience in working with people as they navigate some of life's most difficult issues. And every week on this channel, I try to blend solid clinical tools with biblical truth so that you can better understand life's emotional struggles and deal with them with confidence, with compassion, and with Christ-centered wisdom. Stay with me till the end of the video because I'll tell you how you can get a free copy of my ebook, Faith Over Fear, 7 Biblical Action Strategies for Anxiety Relief. So the first step to helping someone deal with a panic attack sounds very obvious, but it's to stay calm yourself. Now, when you find yourself in this situation, your heart may begin to race also. You may feel helpless or anxious yourself or afraid of doing the wrong thing, and that's all normal. But the first and most powerful thing that you can do is this, that's to stay grounded and to stay calm. Because panic is actually contagious, but so is peace. You see, during a panic episode, the person's brain shifts from safety to survival mode, the fight, flight, or freeze response. Their body actually believes that they're in danger, even if they're not. And in that moment, the ability for them to think or reason or absorb rational information becomes extremely limited. It's kind of like putting blinders on a horse. Their ability to see becomes very limited. And for them, safety is not restored by logic. It's going to be restored through felt presence, through a calm tone, and through emotional co-regulation. When you remain steady, your nervous system becomes a stabilizing anchor for their nervous system. I remember years ago, I was with a family member and they started to have a panic attack. And it started out as worry, and they were very concerned over another family member's health. As they talked about it, they began to become more and more afraid and emotionally worked up. Then they started complaining about their chest hurting, and they were worried that they were having a heart attack. I knew that this person had already been to the emergency room before for similar symptoms, and it was diagnosed as a panic attack, so I decided to try to help them calm down. First thing I did was I slowed my cadence down. I was very deliberate in choosing my words, and I sat down across from them in a very relaxed posture. After just a few moments of having them take deep breaths and shift their thoughts away from their fears and more into what was actually happening in the room around them, they began to calm down. And within 10 minutes, the anxiety was totally gone and they were able to get on with their day. You see, as humans, we're wired for co-regulation, which means that the nervous system of one calm, regulated person can help another person feel safe. And in a panic situation, before words can actually reach the thinking part of your brain, The body senses, am I safe? Am I alone? Is somebody here with me who is steady? Your calm breathing, your slowed movements, and your gentle voice communicate safety to their nervous system. Now, for someone with a history of trauma, this is especially important because their body may be reacting to old memories of danger. And your steady presence helps their body to relearn what safety feels like. John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." You see, when you remain calm, you're not just offering comfort, you're reflecting the peace of Christ into the very room, and you're giving them your peace. In counseling, my mom once told me when her daughter experienced panic, she used to panic with her. She felt like she had to fix it. And the result was that it only made her daughter more anxious and afraid. Her daughter expected her mom to be calm and in control. But when her mom actually panicked, she felt unsafe and afraid that the situation was worse than she first thought. But over time, the mom learned to stay steady, to slow her breathing down, and to quietly pray beside her daughter. She told me that her calm became her daughter's calm. I liked her words. She said that her daughter borrowed her breathing until she found her own again. So, what are some practical ways that you can stay calm in these situations and model that for someone else? The first one, take a slow, deep breath before you speak. Just takes a couple of seconds, but it helps you get grounded and it demonstrates to them that this is safe. Then, relax your shoulders. Notice how you're feeling in that moment. Most of the time, people who are not used to dealing with this will feel very tense, on edge. And so relax your shoulders and then soften your voice a little bit. And you can gently say things like, I'm right here with you. You're not alone. We're going to get through this together. And your calm helps their body believe that they're safe now. So the second step to help someone dealing with a panic attack is to help anchor their body once you are calm. And this means to help their body return to a sense of safety. Because during panic, the body's flooded with adrenaline and stress hormones, and the heart races, the breathing becomes shallow, and the body prepares as if there's going to be a real danger right here, right now. This is why telling somebody, just calm down, or you're fine, almost never helps. Now, before their mind can settle down, the nervous system needs to shift out of survival mode. So movement, breathing, and rhythm are powerful tools that we can use here. The calming walk with prayer is a gentle but powerful tool that pairs slow movement, regulated breathing, and scripture to help their body reset. And here's how you guide someone through this. First of all, invite them to stand up with you if they're able to. Next, begin taking slow steps together. Maybe you're walking around the room, maybe you slowly walk outside to go down the sidewalk, and then match steps with breathing. So one step inhale, really slowly. One step exhale, really slowly. Next thing is you're going to layer scripture in with a soft rhythm. And so with each step, you're going to pick a scripture. It could be Psalm 23. So you take a step, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. And you just work through the scripture that way. And this engages the body, it engages breathing, and engages the spirit all at once. So how does this all work? How does it actually help? The first thing is that movement burns off adrenaline and it reduces the physiological charge of panic. Next, rhythmic motion signals to the brain that there's no threat here. We're walking. We don't need to run. The next thing is that pacing your breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's the body's God-designed calm down response. We've also got scripture rhythm, which helps redirect the mind away from fear and towards grounding truth. And walking with someone reinforces safety through shared presence. They don't need to be afraid. We're out here just taking a walk. It's a nice day. Now, for individuals with trauma histories, this approach is very beneficial because it avoids force or pressure or overwhelming verbal instruction. It's gentle, it's collaborative, we're doing this together, and it's regulating. One young man told me that this practice helped him through family gatherings, especially the holidays. He felt overwhelmed with his family there. He would get up, walk outside, and then he would just begin to take slow, intentional steps matched with his breathing and recite scripture in his head as he did this. And he said it gave panic less room to take over because his body and his breathing and scripture were all working together. So what if somebody's not able to get up and go for a walk? Well, here are a couple of other options. Maybe you're helping someone who is in a wheelchair and they're not able to get up and go for a walk. So they can put their hand over their heart and just feel the inhale and the exhale. And then inhale, one part of scripture, exhale the next part. Or prayer, God is here, I am safe. Or you can do some other things, like you can put ice chips or a cool rag or cool water on your wrists or on the back of your neck to reset the nervous system. And even 60 to 90 seconds of grounding like this, of getting up and going for a slow, intentional walk, breathing, reciting scripture, this can begin shifting the body out of panic mode. It doesn't take a long time to do this. The third thing that you can do to help someone dealing with a panic attack is to help anchor their spirit. So as their body begins to settle down, it becomes possible to gently help their spirit reconnect with truth. Panic tells us, I'm alone, something bad's happening. But God says, I'm with you. You are safe in me. Now, your role here when you're with someone that's experiencing panic is to not preach. It's not to try to fix things or even to force some kind of spiritual reflection, especially for somebody who has had trauma that's been connected to faith or authority or past spiritual harm. This can be damaging. So just remember, instead, your role is to be a gentle reminder of God's nearness. The reason this matters is that once a person's nervous system begins to regulate, their brain becomes more receptive to comfort, to connection, and to spiritual reassurance. You see, in these situations, safety has to come before Scripture because a dysregulated brain struggles to receive or integrate truth. Remember those blinders, they're only able to see what's right in front of them in that moment. So by offering a brief, compassionate reminder of God's presence as you walk with Him, as you sit with Him, as you pray with Him, without any kind of pressure, you support in those moments both their emotional recovery and their spiritual grounding. Now, a few gentle ways to invite God into these moments. First of all, speak short, comforting truth to them. You're not alone. God is here with us. Or God's love surrounds you right now. You can also pray softly, Jesus, bring your peace here. Let your love settle this person's heart. You can softly hum or even sing a worship song if it's appropriate, because music regulates the nervous system and it helps the truth to sink in gently. Isaiah 41:10 says, do not fear, for I am with you. I will strengthen you and help you. Now, I do want to add that for someone who's had trauma in their background, you should avoid saying things like, just have more faith, or don't be afraid, or you shouldn't feel this way. These kind of statements are judgmental and they can actually trigger shame and be more harmful in the moment than good. Your ministry in that moment, remember, is presence. It's not to put pressure on them. It's to show compassion to them and not correct them. So another client of mine once told me that when she was having a panic attack, her friend didn't try to fix her. She just came over and sat down with her and put her arm around her. And she just began to pray over her and say, Jesus, hold her in your peace. She said pretty quickly that she felt seen and not judged, and her body began to relax. So what about you? You ever supported someone through a moment of panic? What helped or what have you learned? Share your comments below. Your experience may actually encourage somebody else. Please remember that just walking with someone through panic is an act of Christ-like love. You don't have to have the perfect words or know all the steps, but your calm and your compassion and your grounding presence and your prayers can be enough to help them. Panic doesn't get the final word, God's peace does. And when you show up with gentleness and the presence of Christ and just love them, you help them experience that truth and not just hear it. Now, if any of this was helpful for you today, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And don't forget to download your free copy of my ebook, Faith Over Fear. The link is in the description below. See you next time.